Good morning, guys. It is Friday, the 22nd of January, 2021, and we haven't all blown up yet. Who would have thought, right? Given the circumstances. So a little bit of a continuance of what we discussed in the last one. We talked a lot about the LLCs and how that works with conventional lending, and how conventional lending is really not conducive for a person who wants to purchase in the name of an LLC. So we've gone over a lot of the information. You talk to your CPA and talk to your attorney. You need to know what you're getting into, be sure of what you're looking at trying to do when you've got whatever reason you're choosing to look towards that. Also understand the partnerships, and if you have a partner involved or multiple partners, what does that do to your business? Again, I'm going to reiterate that a bunch of times. Talk to a mortgage professional if you're trying to think about, I want to transfer this to an LLC. I've got different people on it. Know what's going to happen. So get those things figured out before you make decisions. Make decisions slowly on something like that. That's my advice. You do what you need to do. You're the CEO of your real estate investment business. You do what you think is necessary for you. But at the same time, know the ramifications of every decision that you make. There's always going to be something that's going to have an effect on that. Now, when it comes to that whole thought process that we'd passed out, one thing I don't believe that I touched on, because that question came out after the last episode, I guess. I don't know what you want to call these things. The last bit of information I shot out. It was asked where an attorney has suggested that the individual reach out to me directly and find out, well, could they still purchase in the name of an LLC if they personally guaranteed the note? Unfortunately, no. That's not a way to make it work. Personally guaranteeing the note is what's going to be a necessity anyway. It's not about the guarantor when it comes to LLC. It's about the ownership of the property. There's this old statement that used to be used, or there was something within the guidelines within Fannie and Freddie that said continuity of obligation. Need to be continuity between the obligator, right, the person who signed on the note, and the property itself, right, as far as the ownership is concerned. Well, if the ownership of the person who signed on that note does not show continuity with the ownership of the property any longer, like he got transferred to an entity, let's say a C Corp or an S Corp, or a partnership that had 3 or 4 partners in it. Now that one partner who's on the note, the obligator on the note, does not have continuity on the property any longer because they own 20%. They don't have controlling interest in it, but yet you're the one obligated on it, right? And that dominoes into a lot more issues. Well, if you transfer it to a C Corp or an S Corp or something like that, well, now you have no interest in it whatsoever. Sure, you have stock in the organization, but the organization owns it. The organization calls all the shots. It changes the dynamics of everything when you start doing it that way. So now there's zero continuity between the obligator, right? So it's no different than, say, selling it to another person and carrying the loan. That right there doesn't go. You're doing that kind of stuff, you're probably going to have somebody knocking on your door and rattling your cage. That ain't good. You don't want to have a situation where you have now obligated yourself on a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac conventional loan with a conventional bank, and then transfer title, sell it to somebody else, and you carry the note on that one. That's where a lot of stuff came and bit us in the ass years back. And there's been things that have been published or put in place with respect to guidelines that prevents us from being able to do that, period. So know that that is also another way you're transferring an entity. So all these things are things that if it's not you signing on the note, and it's not you owning the property or having a living revocable trust that meets specific guidelines, just know you're going to have some questions come up. I can't guarantee what they all are. I can't guarantee how it's going to go. Just know that that is a thing. And talk to your mortgage professional, CPA, attorney, anybody you need to understand all the ramifications from all perspectives before you make any decisions. Let's get into what our market is doing today. Opened up wanting to break through resistance. It wanted to go high. It pulled up just a little bit, and then there it is, just moved on us. Went right down to the 200-day moving average. It had held there for probably the last 15 minutes that I've been watching it, and then it broke below it. So I don't know if there's specific trades going on here. I don't think that the Fed has actually dumped any money into it today yet. So it could be traders jumping in there. Purchase orders went in, and in advance of the Fed, they're selling their position. Fed's going to come in and buy it back up. I don't know if they have done their buy for the day. So we're in a pretty good spot. We're still in a really, really, really good channel to continue to keep seeing those phenomenal rates that we've been getting lately. Now, when it comes to also remember one thing to know when we're quoting an interest rate or we're sending out paperwork, the rates are moving all the time, right? Sometimes they actually shut off what they're publishing to us, and I can only get certain people's published rates before I send out the paperwork. So we have to go with what I can see. So just know that sometimes you're not going to see the actual rate I can get at that time. Just know we're going to keep a close eye on it. We're going to pull the trigger when we know we can lock it and reasonably close. It's not happening like that 100% of the time. There is some people right now who've had to do some extensions on. But when you think about it, if we know an appraisal is coming and we know the property's ready, that's when we really want to start talking rates. When you start reaching out to us and talking about it, see what we can make happen. So thank you guys for always watching. Thank you for participating in the Operation Underground Railroad campaign we've got going on, aaron.chapman.com. Go also Amazon. I haven't talked about it. Go Amazon, get the books. You know, we're paying to some charities for this. Actually, somebody I'm sending one to. So just know there's charities that are getting these funds when we're using these campaigns, both the books or Operation Underground Railroad. And we appreciate every dollar you guys put towards it because it helps somebody else. Thank you guys. Have yourself a great weekend.